So I'd like you next to turn to page 372 in your workbook, and there's a bunch of problems on this page that you can do to practice using patty paper or tracing paper and constructing the reflections. But what I want to focus on are problems 4 and 6 because they're a little bit different than the rest of them, and I want to be sure that you see what the results are when we draw the reflections of numbers 4 and 6. So let's go ahead and zoom in on 4. I'm going to go ahead and place the patty paper. And now I'm going to do the usual. I'm going to go tracing. Draw the line. Notice that when I draw lines with patty paper, I use my straight edge. That way I have the most accurate result. Okay. Draw my line. And now keeping that line lined up with the line on the patty paper, I'm now going to dig in and label each of my points A, B, C, and D. In this case, I'm not even going to bother connecting the lines because I know if I dig in the points deeply enough, I can just connect the points. So let me just go ahead and flip the patty paper upside down, line up the line with the line before, like I did. Make sure those lines are both connected. And now I'm going to dig in to my 4 points, A, B, C, and D. And you should be following me along. And here I'm going to kind of dig in deeply. I want this to go almost through the patty paper. A, B, C, and D. I want to make sure these go through the patty paper. And I might just draw the lines here to be doubly sure that things are going through. Okay, so let me kind of make a deep line there. Let me kind of make a deep line here. A deep line over here. Oops. Okay, and then finally a deep line over here. Pressing down very firmly as I go. Okay, good. So now I've drawn myself the reflection. Let me pull the patty paper away, and hopefully I'll see the reflection. I think you can see the creases. They're pretty easy to see. We've got a crease there, a crease there, a crease there, and a crease there. It makes it very, very easy to now draw in the reflection. Let me use a different color so that it would sort of be highlighted. Connect this point to this point. Okay, good. This point to this point. Good. These 2 points here. Good. And this point to this point here. Okay, good. And let me also make sure that I've got my letters labeled appropriately. So I started out with A, B, D, C like that. And then when I flipped it over, I should have my A down here. Make sure I label that point A. This is point B. I'm going to make sure I label that. Sorry, again, I forgot A prime. This is B prime. This is C prime. I have to use my prime notation, and this is D prime. Okay, so they're pretty close. There's a little, because of the curve, I didn't tear this page out, so my book is a little bent. That's probably why this doesn't look like a perfect rectangle, but you can see that now we've got ourselves a reflection, and we've got each of the points labeled. And you'll see once again that the distance between B and line M is the same as the distance between point B prime and line M. Same thing with C prime and C. They're equidistant from the mirror. D and D prime are equidistant from the mirror, and A and A prime are equidistant from the mirror. In addition, the orientations are different, as is true with all reflections. The pre-image had A to B, to C, to D, back to A in a counterclockwise direction, while the image has A to B, B to C, C to D, and D back to A. These are all the primes. A prime to B prime, B prime to C prime, C prime to D prime, and D prime to A prime in a clockwise orientation. So we've gone from a counterclockwise to a clockwise orientation. Let's do number 6. So let's get a fresh piece of patty paper for this exercise. Let's place it on top. You'll notice patty paper has a shiny surface and then sort of a dull surface. I'm going to use the dull surface always to put it on top because it works a little bit better. The pen doesn't slip on the surface as much. So I'm going to now trace my line. Okay, good. And now I'm going to mark my points. So notice that point B is actually on the line. It's on the line of reflection. And so is point D. It's actually sitting on the line of reflection. That's important. We'll see why in a moment. We have point A over here, and we have point C over here. Let's join our lines. Okay, good. Let's join AD. Oops. It's going to happen to you sometimes. You can't help it. Sometimes things just shift a little bit, so you just put it back. And then BC. Join B and C together. Okay, good. So now we've got ourselves our tracing. Let's flip the patty paper upside down, like so. And now let's make sure we have the line on top of the line, like this. Okay, that looks pretty good. And now, very firmly, let me make sure that these points go through the patty paper. A, which is going to become A prime. B is going to become B prime. C is going to become C prime, and D. So I dig really deeply, making sure they come through. And let me actually join these lines. Try to draw really hard and firm. Doing the best I can here. Okay. Do this over here too. Okay. And draw this line too. There we go. And finally, the last line over here. Okay, so now we've dug in. We should have, sure we really dug in there. And now when I remove this, we have a tracing. You can see it'll be pretty easy to follow it. So let me make sure I label my new points correctly. So this is going to be point A prime. This is going to be point D prime. This is going to be point C prime. And then this is going to be point B prime. Let me go ahead, connect the new lines. do it. B prime to C prime. C prime to D prime. From D prime to A prime. And from A prime to B prime. And so this is my reflection. And you'll notice a couple of very interesting things. You might have thought, when you first looked at this figure, that its reflection would just end up right on top of the original pre-image. But actually that's not the case. Okay, so we have a rectangle here, and here the rectangle is pointed in this direction. So that's one interesting thing. Another to notice is that B and D, the 2 points that lie on top of the mirror line, did not move. Okay, B prime is the same as B, and D prime is the same as D. So when a point is on the mirror line, the reflection of that point is stationary. It just stays there. It does not move. Unlike A, the reflection of point A here is point A prime. There's a distance between the two. And the reflection of point C is point C prime. And there's this distance between the two. Any point that is on the mirror line, however, that starts out on the mirror line does not move. So B and B prime are the same point, and D prime are the same point. Okay, in the next video, we're going to start to talk about constructing reflections using a straight edge and compass.